it is absolutely imperative that you recognize these 6 signs of anxiety burnout happening in your life right now. Let's dive in. My peaceful warriors, welcome to another important video on my channel. Today, we are diving into a topic that doesn't get talked about enough, but there are so many anxiety sufferers out there going through what's known as burnout. We're going to dive deep into 6 very specific signs that may be happening in your world right now. But before we do, make sure to subscribe to this channel, my friends. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here at any point in the video. Now, I went through burnout for years until I recognized that it was burnout. For a long time, my entire focus was on decreasing my anxiety levels. And with that came a sense of obsession over my anxiety. And this level of obsession, even though it was for a positive intention, was still adding a lot of anxiety into my inner world. And then I recognized, well, Dennis, a lot of these signs are because you have passed your mental, emotional, physical threshold. You've gone beyond that and you continued to do so. So of course your body is going to send you signals, signs, signals in relation to sensations, symptoms, and otherwise that you are burned out, and you have to start recognizing that and doing things differently, approaching your life and all the interactions within life differently. So let's dive into these 6 signs, my friends. And number 6 is absolutely huge. Okay, so the first sign is overthinking. And a lot of people go, well, I'm just an overthinker. It's just what I am. Well, often that's not the case. You have identified with this particular pattern, this particular habit. And overthinking often is a result of burnout, right? And you find yourself overly analyzing certain situations. You find yourself coming in contact with a particular stressor. And with that stressor, how most people with a regulated nervous system kind of go through the stressor, feel a certain amount of stress, deal with it, and move forward. You, on the other hand, because of this burnout, are thinking about it, trying to configure it, put puzzle pieces together, trying to solve the problem at a mental level, which only contributes to the fact that you've gone beyond your threshold at a mental level. A lot of burnout comes from the mental activity, my friends. We get to a point where we go, well, I'm an overthinker, or I like to analyze everything, or, I'm just that kind of a person. Well, it's kind of a defense mechanism in a lot of ways, and when you were young, you had to mature very, very early. You had to take care of older people. You had to figure out how to deal with the potential trauma that was about to show up in the evening in your life. There were experiences where you had to be older and more mature than your present time when you were a child. So it's kind of like, well, as long as I keep overthinking, then the worst won't happen again, right? So I want you to consider that if you're going through this overthinking right now, it could very well be a sign of burnout in your life. Sign number 2 is non-refreshing sleep. You go to sleep, right? And a lot of people come to me and say, Dennis, I'm sleeping pretty good, right? But then you wake up in the morning and you feel like you haven't slept for a minute. You're going, what happened? I'm up and I had, 8, 9, 10 hours even. But you don't feel refreshed as most people do with a regulated nervous system. Because you're in burnout, it feels like any amount of sleep you get just isn't doing the job, and you wake up with such a small capacity. You know what I mean? Like a small capacity. So yes, you've gotten the sleep, but you can still only take on a certain amount of stimuli throughout the day before you feel absolutely overwhelmed. This is burnout, my friends. While most people are saying, push through it, bulldoze, create that new business, you can do it, motivate yourself, you're going, no, right? Because you have nothing left in the tank. For so many years, you've given to other people, given to your career, given to everything in the outside, and you've never put yourself first. Self first is not selfishness, and this is a key point in your recovery. Sign number 3 is bodily symptoms 24/7, all day, every day. And most people don't understand this, right? If you've never gone through this level of burnout, most people don't understand. You go, I'm having this headache, and someone will cut you off. Oh, I had a headache about 3 weeks ago. Oh, I just take an Advil for it. It'll go away. And you're going, no, not that kind of headache. This is the kind of headache that sticks around and feels like my head is cracking open, and I've got this migraine and head heaviness and maybe the dizziness all day long, whatever sensation or symptom it may be. So there's a baseline level of symptoms that are always there in conjunction with fatigue, which is often at the top of burnout, right? It's this chronic level of fatigue. And we get to a point with a lot of burnout people where they're very afraid of going beyond their capacity, right? And rightfully so, rightfully so. I have so much empathy for you. Comment below if this is you, where you're afraid to go for, and people say, you got to take 10,000 steps a day, right? And you're going, I take 2,000, I'm pretty exhausted, right? So I completely understand where you're coming from. And fatigue, chronic fatigue, is that underlying feeling that accompanies burnout all day long. Sign number 4 is a lack of motivation, often a lack of motivation, a lack of desire. You wake up in the morning and there are things that you have to do and things that you used to be excited about doing. Remember that, right? You used to be excited about doing these things and improving yourself and contributing to your well-being. But there's this lack of motivation even to take care of yourself when you experience burnout. Comment below if you can relate to this. Now, in this particular area, you have to be very patient and gentle with yourself. Because if you force yourself to become motivated, then you're only contributing to more burnout. So whatever it is that you have to do throughout the day, you've got to do it in a certain way where you're going, it's okay for you to make a mistake during what it is you're doing. It's okay for you to do this very thing in a slow manner. It doesn't have to get done overnight. You can take your time. And what's very, very important is that you take what I call mini vacations throughout the day. And this could be 30 seconds to 30 minutes throughout the day of a particular time for yourself. And that can be grounding, that can be connecting to source, that can be a meditation of some sort, whatever it is that speaks to you, that gives you a certain degree of rejuvenation in mind and body, a certain degree of clarity, right? Number 5 is this one, isolating yourself from others completely. I'm not talking about a little bit, but with anxiety burnout, it's like, everybody in the world, leave me alone, right? Okay? I found my little cave. Don't come in it. Don't knock on the cave. Okay? I'm ordering food all the time. I'm ordering what I need. I'm not going out there again, right? So you tend to isolate yourself completely from others. Now, I'm a bit torn with this one, right? Because at a certain spiritual level, you are meant to be isolated at this particular time in your life so that you can look deeper into the things that you've been carrying within your mind and body that have been negatively weighing on you for too long. Ooh, more than anxiety moment. So, to some degree, the isolation is a good thing, right? It's good that it's there, and it's meant to be there so that you can do some introspection at this particular stage in your healing journey. However, you don't want to get to a point where you are absolutely afraid of coming in contact with anybody out there. So the way you want to start getting yourself out there again is find a park bench, go sit on the park bench, people watch a bit, show your nervous system that it's safe to be around people in small degrees. You don't have to converse with them or anything like that, but you are observing them. You are sitting there and grounding yourself to some degree, right? And you are retraining your brain to find the safety within human interaction. Okay? Comment below if that speaks to you. And number 6, I've been waiting for this one. Number 6 sign of burnout that I wanted to share with you is losing touch with positive emotions like love. There's a lot of people out there, blaming themselves, beating themselves up, going, I have this beautiful pet, this dog, this cat, and I just don't feel the love that I once did for that animal, or my mother, my father, even my kids, right? And as you can see, this is a defense mechanism trying to keep you in a state of fear and anxiety in order to be prepared for potential threats. Because if you're absolutely loving towards everything and everyone out there, then your nervous system doesn't believe that that is conducive to the world that you're living in, the threatening world that you're living in, right? So it sucks the love out and brings the fear in, okay? And so as long as you understand that this is part of the burnout, this is part of your healing journey, you don't have to go from where you are to where you want to go within a few seconds. You can go, I identify that this is part of my particular programming within my nervous system right now, and I am empathetic towards it. I'm going to work with it. So in small degrees, I'm going to allow myself to start loving the most important person first, and that is myself. I love myself for being on this journey. I love myself for taking chances, even though they may not look like chances to other people. I love myself for going about this burnout healing on my own to a large degree. So my friends, that love that you lost touch with for yourself and others in the world will come back when you bring back the traits that you lost because of anxiety so many years ago. And those traits are things like empathy, things like compassion, things like gentleness, things like play. As you can see in my videos, I like to play a lot because when you take your healing journey too seriously, it cuts you off from progress. And this is something I learned through people going through my programs for so many years and coming out healed. If you want to learn more about any of those programs, click right here, my friends. Give this video a like and please share it with someone out there in need. I know there are people out there that need to hear this and that can help them a lot. Remember that you are more than anxiety. I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you very, very soon.